everybody. Hello. I gotta look at my cameras up here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Endless Multiverse, episode number 47. Had to make sure I get that number correctly. We're here today to discuss a big thing that has now hit theaters, and there's a lot of varied opinions on said film. We're talking Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. And and the good thing is that I don't know Andy's opinion. He knows a little bit of my opinion on the film, but I don't know his. So I'm curious to see how this is going to go. How are you, Andy? How are you doing this Friday?
It's Friday. It's been a very long week, and I know last week we were off, but for very good reasons. We're gonna definitely talk a lot about a lot of things tonight. But yeah, I'm good. I've been working, catching up with school, and so on. But otherwise, yeah, I am doing good. How is it go for you on your side of things?
It's actually been it's been interesting. It's been a kind of an interesting week for sure, but I definitely am curious to see how we align on Quantumania because there are some people out there. And I was telling him this earlier today, before he saw the film. Like,
No.
there are people out there saying this is the worst MCU film ever, which I feel like it's a thing that people say after every release now. It just feels like, oh, it's the worst thing ever. Oh, it's the worst thing ever. And it's like they said that the last time. They said the last time before that. So are you ready just to dive in to
Yeah,
talk about this movie?
yeah. No, it's fine. Yeah, that is because I was like only like an hour away to go to the theater, and then he was like, "You didn't see what these people were saying." I'm like,
No.
it's weird. Why? Like, it's like, okay, well, we will get into it. So,
Yes.
do we still use a lighter for despite the fact that he's DC?
I think Constantine needs to take this thing away. I think he needs to. Yeah. So Constantine, take.
All right then. On with the show.
Okay, so I'm not sure how we're going to structure this because normally we have a couple of. I mean, do we have a doc? I don't even know.
I was I flunked, so
Oh, that's fine.
I can help set up, just from on
Okay.
the spot. So
Okay.
let's just start with overall impressions of the film, and guys in the chat definitely chime in. So we've seen all the trailers leading up to the film, and we knew that this was going to be a very different Ant-Man movie. So what overall impressions, like when you came right out of the theater, what was like your general take on the film?
My general thoughts were I liked it. There's some moments I really enjoyed. Uh, I do have some issues, which we'll get into specifics, obviously, when we get to some of our mixed feelings and things like that. But I think overall, this film could have been better, but I enjoyed it for the most part, what they did. And the whole spending a lot of the time in the quantum realm, I really feel like they did a pretty good job of showing different locations within the quantum realm and showing how vastly unique it is within the quantum realm itself. Um, Scott Lang is always great. I think Paul Rudd is always great in this role. And Jonathan Majors as Kang is literally a standout. Like, he literally, to me, he is the best part of the film. Like, he is so good in the role. What were your immediate thoughts when you left the theater about this?
And we've talked. I think you and I've talked about it at least off air a few points that Ant-Man has not really been one of my favorite franchises in the MCU. Like I try to be as fair as I can, but I think my mind was just so locked on the idea of Edgar Wright and his vision, especially because like how many years did he write that script, and then they're just like, no, we're not gonna do this. Um, I definitely enjoyed this more than Ant-Man and the Wasp. Um, I definitely felt that they lived up to the angle of making things, for like a better term, bigger. I That's part one for tonight. But I do think this film, as the first installment for Phase 5, this is the same issue I had with Black Widow, which is that it does it like this is not the right film to start this new phase, especially now that we know, because okay, when we saw Phase 4, we knew that like multiverse was going to be part of it, but we didn't actually know like, to the full extent that this was the multiverse saga until Comic-Con of last year. So now that we know that this is like what they're fully committing to, I need the first thing in this phase to completely blow me away. there are things in this movie that does that, but I think that this isn't really an Ant-Man movie in a lot of ways, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's more than that. And I think that's kind of what a lot of people have taken away from this, is that literally when you think of Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp, they were smaller scaled films and they focused on Scott. And then eventually, Hope got more. Obviously, she got co-named within the title of the second film, but they were smaller scaled films. This film, I wouldn't say feels like an Avengers level, like Peyton Reed, the director, was saying, but it definitely is a vastly different film in terms of scope. And it's more so a Scott Lang and a Janet film than it is Scott and Hope, which they're in the title,
Yeah. I mean, if we want to be technical, I mean, technically they do focus on a Wasp.
That is true.
It's not the Wasp.
You would just think with that title,
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
It would be, Hope, not Janet, which that's fine. Michelle Pfeiffer is a great actor, and I felt like the story they told for her in this film and her connection to Kang, awesome. I really like the fact that there's some mystery from where she was in the quantum realm this whole entire time, and that there was something going on we were unaware of, and how vast the quantum realm is. Because in the second Ant-Man film, we really didn't get a lot of information. Obviously, in the Endgame, we used the quantum realm to travel through time and everything to, basically get to the end with Thanos dying and everything and all that. But we didn't know this much. So I'm glad they gave Janet more story. That's cool. But it sacrificed a lot of other things in this movie in the process.
Yeah. I think let's do this. Maybe we can get to the issues we have with this, and then we can try and end the conversation on a better note.
Okay.
What were things in terms of character plot or overall story arc that didn't work for you?
I'm gonna pull up an image for this one. This guy didn't work for me. MODOK. I don't know how you feel about MODOK. I think we should touch on MODOK regardless of because I'm not sure how you felt about him. For me, MODOK, I think like this faceplate and everything and the voice was really cool, but as soon as he removes that faceplate, the thing is, I don't know how you could have done this properly. There's been, of course, the Avengers, Marvel's Avengers Crystal Dynamic video game, which not getting into the whole discussion about that game and the issues with gameplay. However, the design of MODOK, they got right. It was as good as it could be. I don't know how they could have made MODOK look less ridiculous when the mask is off, with the helmet is removed. I wanted MODOK from the comics, and I understand this is adaptation, but look, Marvel has given us some good adaptations for a lot of things. And I'm not asking for a carbon copy comic version of MODOK, but I wanted more of that. But they literally turned MODOK into a joke, which I get, he's a jokey type character in regards to like a giant floating head. I get it. But in terms of its Yellow Jacket, and it just didn't work for me.
Yeah, you and I we are absolutely in sync on this, because for me, one of the issues with the first Ant-Man movie is that Darren Cross, I love that actor. He's a wonderful performer.
Oh, yeah.
But there's nothing remotely interesting about Darren Cross in the end. It just doesn't work for me. So to bring him back and then make this, because I have no real attachment to MODOK. So like for me, it's like, backstory, I don't know what, I can't comment on that. But visually wise, it doesn't work for me, because and it doesn't help that the entire film deals with him as a joke. So it's like when he dies at the end, was I supposed to be sad? Was I supposed to care? I was like, okay.
I will admit this though, if you listen to my audience reaction, I was laughing at his death scene because of him saying we were like brothers, Scott. And he's like, brothers? He's like,
yeah.
At least I died an Avenger. I'm like, those are funny-ish moments, but it's because it's Darren, and I'm not thinking of the fact that it's MODOK. If it's MODOK, I like, okay, perfect example. I don't know if you've seen the show Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Phenomenal show.
It's awesome.
They handle MODOK so well in that show. Like, why couldn't we gotten that in this, or at least something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I even said this in my written review, which I'm not sure if the Marvel Report has posted it yet. I think you said tomorrow, but I wrote down
Tomorrow
in
will
my
go live.
yeah. So I wrote my review for the Marvel Report for the film. I wrote my review saying I would have loved a more comic accurate MODOK as the villain in an Ant-Man movie instead of him being second fiddle to Kang. That would have been cool, right? Because Ant-Man is a goofy type of character. He's got goofy storylines, and he's a more of a fun character. You could be, you know, as just imagine if we had MODOK, like a more comic accurate, who's really serious, but he's funny because it's like a giant floating head as the main villain in an Ant-Man movie. That'd be great. But instead, we have to go so grand with Kang. Like, I love Kang. I love Jonathan Majors, but you're sacrificing a very, like, a character that could do a lot of, like, progression in the MCU, MODOK, and you just throw him away.
Yeah.
And they've done it before, but it was disappointing.
You know what I feel this movie to me? You know what this is to the MCU? This is the latest, for me, equivalent to Iron Man 2, Civil War, where those movies are not really about the titular characters. It's about setting up Avengers or something like that, because
it's something bigger.
Yeah, like Avengers to me, Iron Man 2 is essentially the Avengers prequel, and then Civil War is Avengers 2.5. Because again, and the thing is, I don't like Civil War. Like there's moments I like in that film, but I completely despise the idea how they did Civil War in the MCU. And I don't even like Civil War as a comic book storyline, because particularly because of what they do to Peter Parker in the book. But with this, I feel like this doesn't feel like, again. And Marvel seems to have this issue a lot when they're about to wrap up a trilogy. It never feels like it's paying off to the actual characters it's supposed to be about. Spider-Man No Way Home works because Peter evolves and grows because of meeting himself from other worlds, but also them raising the stakes and actually having a through line. So that's how I look at this film. That I'm like, at the end, I'm like, I want to see more of Kang, of course, but like, I want to bring up with this film is Cassie Lang, and I remember
let's pull up an image.
I called Jordan before I went to see the film just to kind of just get a quick take, and we, I kept saying to him like, this girl looks so much like the actress from Stranger Things, and apparently it's a character named Nancy. So, but it was only a few weeks ago when Jordan told me about the little casting controversy that happened because of the actress who played her in Avengers Endgame found out through the investor call on Disney on Twitter that someone had replaced her in the new Ant-Man movie, and I feel like I can just speak this and say that it was, and again, I know she was only in it for a few minutes, but I think this was a miscast. I feel like this was someone and again, it's no person. I don't want to be mean to her. Again, sometimes actors work for me, sometimes they don't. But like, it don't mean that I hate them. I don't think they're a horrible human being or anything like that. So for me, it's just there's a lot of there was something that you gave me a heads up about if you want to share with the class. Like what you said, that when she said her lines.
Oh yeah, so. Well, okay, so when we get to that point, so the recasting situation was really bothersome because Emma, who portrayed her in Endgame, like someone tweeted this, and I sent him to go look for the tweet as well, where they said that Emma's portrayal, her 5 minutes in Endgame, is more emotional, and you care more about her in the 5 minutes than the 2 hours of Quantumania, and I agree with that. I felt like Emma was treated horribly by Marvel, not letting her know that, because if they were going to recast her, which has happened before in other franchises, and they recast roles, they should have notified her and let her know before they made the announcement that Catherine was taking over as Cassie. That was really disrespectful, and honestly, I'm still kind of irritated by that. It's because the way they handled the whole situation, it's really stupid. So to the point, so someone had commented this, and I didn't think about it too much until I saw this comment. I'm like, I agree with that. There are moments where Catherine is Cassie, and it's nothing against
I want to throw up the tweet just so people know
Oh.
what we're talking about. On December 14, 2020, Emma said, I just want to come on and sit here and say that I see all your kind messages. Thank you for your all support. It has meant the world to me. I was as sad as you all were to hear the news Thursday. I can only hope that this means there's something else for me in the future of the MCU. I will always be grateful that I have been a part of the MCU and the biggest movie of all time. Being an actor is still my number one passion. I look forward to what the future holds. XO Emma.
And that's a nice way to say that. I mean, literally, she is in one of the biggest films ever, but it's just the way that Marvel handled it. But this comment was made that it feels like at times Catherine as Cassie, the new Cassie, sometimes she's acting her lines, other times sounds like she's just reading her lines. She's just reading it.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about it until I saw that. I'm like, that's kind of accurate, because there were times where she says a line, and someone even pulled a clip, I think, from a trailer. Because you remember that little moment back and forth where Scott and Cassie are talking right after they get into the quantum realm, and they're talking about it's like camping. You know, we love camping. She's like, we've never been camping. It's like, well, we've talked about it. Like that whole exchange. There's times where it's like it sounds like she's not really giving any emotion to it, and
yeah,
I don't know. And honestly, the only reason why they recast the role. Recast, I don't think is a word. Recast the role is because Catherine is a bigger name on social media and she has more of a presence, and she's, I guess, been to more projects. But that to me, that doesn't mean anything, because literally Kevin Feige went out and got James Gunn, who did some smaller scaled films, and got him to direct some of the biggest MCU films in terms of box office that we've seen. And the same thing, the Russo brothers, they were TV directors, and they created some of the biggest budget
Community.
Yeah, and they literally went on to do Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame.
Yeah.
Like, so this idea of like, we have to get bigger names, like I think it backfired a little bit, because there's people who are not even talking about the recasting of Cassie in terms of the Emma thing and the whole controversy. There's just people just flat out just don't like Cassie at all. They just don't like her in her. And I think she's fine, but she better step her game up whenever we see her again, because I'm mixed on her, honestly, and it's not just because of this, but yeah.
Yeah, no, because I just like, because I never seen her in anything, and the whole idea about having to wanting to try find name actors. I mean, we have to go think about, like, everyone starts somewhere. Maybe Emma hasn't been in as many things as Catherine, whatever, and so on. But at the same time, let's think about this. Who knew about Stephen Amell when he was cast as Aaron? Now look what has happened. Like, they took someone that was fairly unknown and that people knew a little bit about, in various shows, and then and he got to carry on that role for 8 years. That's what I always say when we talk about, like, castings in general. And so I'm like, there will be some of the actors that are, like, super famous or whatever, that I'm like, oh, I would love them to play this character or that character and so on. But at the same, I'm always open to the idea that, hey, let's cast someone new. Let's get some fresh blood in Hollywood, and because if these films are successful, then they can build careers out of them. And so, like, there's so much untapped talent out there that I think deserves a chance. And in this case, like, it was hard for me to buy this connection that we're supposed to have between them, because, again, I agree what you're saying. It felt like different times where she was just reading her lines.
Look at Lloyd's comment here.
Yeah, I rewatched Avengers Endgame, and I almost made me cry. And see, that's the thing. And we're like, because initially we don't know it is Cassie, but, like, we can tell, like, because she looks so broken the moment Scott comes in. Because she, in her mind, she was thinking, I'm not gonna see her again. He's gone. So, and for me, like, that's like, if you can hook me in from there, like, and here's what I think has happened. I'm not teasing anything. It's just a theory. I think Peyton Reed didn't see eye to eye with Marvel on the casting of Emma, and he was the one who wanted to recast with someone else.
I mean, that makes sense, because literally because the Russo brothers, working with the casting department, got Emma to play an older Cassie for this time jump. So
yeah,
it makes sense that when Peyton came in, he's like, no, he wanted to go for somebody else. And it's unfortunate, because now they can't go back. Like, they can't, like, at this point now, they cannot get rid of Catherine and bring Emma back if there was a push for that, in terms of, like, an online push, or if Marvel felt like maybe they made a wrong choice. They're stuck with Catherine now. They can't get rid of her now. And there's some people in the comments saying, I don't care about the recast. That's completely fine. But
this is our opinion. This is our opinion.
Yeah. We're just speaking for ourselves. We're not asking you all to agree with us, but it's just a thing to where half of my issue is the fact that they replaced her. Because I even went back and rewatched that scene that Lloyd was talking about where he cried, where he comes face to face with her. It's amazing. Imagine Emma in Quantumania with those, because she spends the majority of the film, Cassie, with her father in the quantum realm together. Imagine if it was Emma instead of Catherine, because Emma's already had that establishment because you saw an Endgame, one of the biggest Marvel films of all time. I mean, and people talk about that scene a lot. Their first time seeing each other when he gets back. Just imagine if it was Emma instead of Catherine. It would have had more of a connection to the audience. But the other half is the fact of how Marvel handled it. But we could spend all day on this.
Yeah. Another issue I had in terms of character plot is that, and we were kind of alluding to this, is that this movie definitely focuses on a Wasp. But someone please tell me, what was Hope's storyline in this movie? And also, I will make this perfectly clear. Whatever issues we have with Wasp in this movie, with Hope in this movie, has nothing to do with any viewpoints of the actress or whatever. It is what she was given, or in this case, not given, to work with in this film. I love Michelle Pfeiffer. I thought she was freaking phenomenal from start to finish. There's obviously a lot of layers to her character that we still need to explore. But man, like, I felt bad for Hope. Like, I feel like there's nothing for her in this film other than to just be, Mom, why did you tell us? She has her kick out. I'm not saying that's all she did. No.
But you were right on that. You're right. Like, anyways, continue.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that she had more to do in the second film, but in here she's a supporting character in her own film that she's supposed to be a co-lead of. And now here's the thing. Is it possible that maybe they filmed more stuff with her that just got cut and left on the editing floor? It's always possible. But here's the problem. You can't have a movie called Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then only have one half of the dynamic really shine through it. Like, yeah, action scenes, she has a lot of them, so, but like, there's no character growth, there's no progression of her, there's nothing for her to do other than just stand, react, or look at things, or talk to people, or whatever. Whereas Michelle Pfeiffer, again, I love her. I mean, like, she's one of the most iconic actresses of our generation. I was more invested into Janet's story than I was Hope, because it's like half of the time I would forget, Hope is in this movie. Did you feel the same way?
Yes, I Hope was the support of the three characters. Yeah, out of the three, in terms of Cassie, Scott, and Hope. So yeah, and I think this image pretty much like just kind of like basically sums it up. Like, literally, she's in the forefront, in focus. She's in the back, kind of out of focus. Of course, I think Hank had not really much else to do either here in this film, besides the advanced ants, which I think is really an interesting side plot. But you're right, Hope didn't have much to do. Like, literally, all she did, they revealed that she took over her mother's company, or the family business, or whatever. She's running the company, and she gets sucked in the quantum realm, and she's with her mom and dad. And there's an awkward moment where they're talking about that each parent had needs because they're separated. And he's like, and she's all freaked out, and a bunch of action. To your point about did they shoot more and cut, I am 99.9% sure you are correct, and I'll tell you why exactly I feel like that. Maybe I'm stupid for thinking this. I remember thinking this watching the film in real time. It wasn't after the fact, when Cassie and Scott are giant and they're hugging each other, and then they shrink down, and then Hope comes in and Hope hugs Cassie. They don't even hold each other for a second, and it cuts immediately away. I think that scene played out longer, and there was probably some conversation back and forth that had Hope talking more, and they cut it because the way it was like this big moment between, because Scott and Cassie spent the majority of the film together in the quantum realm, and they were separated for a little bit in the movie. They're having this gigantic hug, and Cassie and Hope haven't seen each other for quite some time in this movie. When they got to the quantum realm, they were separated. They hug not even for a full second or a second and a half, and it cuts away immediately to something else. And they're still, and I feel like they cut around her. I really do feel they cut around her, and I feel like they only kept the essential Janet moments that needed to explain Kang's story, and anything with Hope they kept in that needed to further along the plot in terms of Janet telling the story or her riding along with her parents trying to find Scott and Cassie. But everything else potentially she could say that isn't exactly necessary, they dwindled it down. And I feel this was a mandate. I'm thinking on Thor: Love and Thunder. They had to cut that film down to a certain point. I feel like there was a mandate to keep this film down to 2 hours. And you felt it at times. There was some stuff they were rushing past.
It was
really
rushed.
Fast. Yeah.
It was rushed. And I just like even just the ending of them like leaving the quantum realm like towards the end when like the question is, should we have saved Kang or whatnot and so on. Like that was like we don't even get time to process that because then they cut right to this fake birthday. And I'm like, no, but this is going too fast. But outside of MODOK, the Cassie recast and the lack of hope in a movie called Ant-Man and the Wasp, let's talk about some positives. I want to talk about Scott because this is probably Paul Rudd's best movie in the MCU. Like, I feel that this is, because here's the thing: Paul Rudd is like one of comedy's golden boys. Like, he is like in our generation, he's one of the comedy's biggest stars.
Mm-hmm.
But here, he was eating, kids. He was eating, y'all. He was like, I felt and was emotional by his performance, and I felt this arc was really like pushing him to his limits because like Jordan, when we either the first or the second trailer where like it ends with them fighting and he's like, I don't have to win, we just both have to lose. That payoff is so good in this film. Mm-hmm. How did you feel about Scott's progression in this arc compared to what we've seen in the other Ant-Man movies, him in the Avengers movies? I think that's all he's appeared in.
Well, I felt like they did a good job of balancing Scott when he first became Ant-Man in Ant-Man 1 and showed the progression of him being now a father to a grown-up teenager, almost adult kid, and the idea of him writing a book, which is great, by the way, and that little bit of him in the car listening to his own audiobook is amazing. Talking about the Hulk turning into a baby and there's a talking raccoon. I'm just happy that I've met a raccoon who could talk. So they had those great moments. And then what I think they did a really good job with in tone-wise is that we had those moments and the whole MODOK thing about we were brothers. Sure, you were an Avenger. Sure, you died in Avenger, MODOK, whatever. But then you had those moments too where he says to Kang when they first meet, I just called the other Avengers. Are you the one with the hammer? No, that's Thor. We get mistaken a lot. We have the same body type, all that. But then when Kang threatens to kill Cassie, which I'm thinking, okay, I know that's not going to happen, but he really, like, you really see the, like, complete opposite of Paul Rudd's acting skills. He really brings some seriousness and some, like, anger and frustration. And, like, if I don't do this, she will die. We know as an audience, they're not going to kill Cassie Lang. They're not going to do it, at least not here. So, but he still plays it very well, and you believe that. And in that one sequence that they've kind of shown a little bit in the trailers, the probability storm where it's all of these versions of Scott, I feel like that was really fun and crazy. But I really enjoyed how I knew Paul Rudd was going to be great going in. I knew that. Regardless of how I came out of the film, I knew Paul Rudd was going to deliver because he always delivers. He's always great as his character. To me, I think it's one of the best casting in the MCU. I'm not saying the best because I feel like that's on the pedestal of Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, in my opinion. But he definitely is one of the better castings in this role. He really did a great job. But yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, same here. I thought again, for me, because it's like Ant-Man has for me this whole franchise just feels like it's like just a big comedy stick. But for me, I actually felt I felt for him. And the thing was, I was almost because there was a point where I'm like, could this movie maybe end with Scott dead? Like, and see, and I think that's the thing. This movie doesn't feel like at the end of a trilogy. I think that's why and I know some people are saying like they can't tell if I liked it or not. Guys, the whole point of a discussion is to get to a point. So don't worry, you will know how I feel about this movie by the end of the discussion. Let's talk about Kang. I mean, listen. I'm ready for the Kang Dynasty, and not just the movie. I'm ready for his dynasty. I don't know much about Kang from the comics. Like I've seen him in, like I think he was in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and which is that show is so good. It is.
I want to go back and rewatch it now.
Yeah, I kind of just want to rewatch it for the theme song. But are you completely sold as this as our new big bad for the MCU?
Well, first of all, this suit is so ridiculous in the comics at times, but they did a fantastic job adapting it. Like that is Kang. I knew Jonathan Majors is going to do something special. He's a phenomenal actor. He already proved it in Loki season 1 finale. He already proved that he's going to be able to deliver because he's sitting there acting. He's playing a version of Kang. He's like, there are some others that are pretty bad. And he's acting all like, some, they're all bad. Yeah. And I just love how he played that up. But like to me, as I mentioned early on in this discussion, Jonathan Majors is the best part of this movie. His Kang is the best part. Now, some people may say, and I get this criticism, but look what happened to him in the third act. He got attacked by a bunch of advanced ants, and he got killed in quotes by Scott and Hope. This is the Kang for the Multiverse saga. It may be
Kang.
It may be not, because the mid-credit scene pretty much implies who knows, out of the Council of Kangs, who is the Kang we're going to be seeing in the Kang Dynasty. It could be multiple Kangs. It could be literally a few different Kangs. Who knows? But he was the best part. And here's what I love so much. The MCU has done this quite a bit. Every single villain, for the most part, in the MCU, not Thanos, but most MCU villains, they have them make jokes or say something that's not a joke, but we take it as a joke because the way it's inferred or in the context of what's happening in the scene. With Jonathan Majors as Kang, there was no jokes. This dude is fucking pissed. And he created his empire in the quantum realm because he was exiled by every other Kang. The Kang Council exiled him. Why? Because they're afraid of him. Because he was conquering the multiverse. He was taking out, and even when Janet said you would kill trillions of people, I think he's already done that. He's already destroyed galaxies and planets. He's already killed trillions. That's just the start of it. And his whole goal is to win when he gets out. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I'm so happy they didn't give him jokes. Because imagine he says all that stuff and then he says something that's kind of like a joke. It would ruin it. Yeah. I love now we can have Kangs that make jokes and are weird.
Of course.
Like if you think about it, on that last couple of seconds of the Kang Council scene where you're kind of up in the rafters and they're all jumping around freaking out. That was funny, but that was really funny. It was just over the top weirdness. But those three Kangs we saw that were kind of talking in that private area before they go out to the rest, that was some serious shit. Very different Kangs, but they're all Kang. But they literally were like, this is serious shit. I mean, we're bringing all the Kangs. It's not going to work out, but whatever. We're going to have to, because what's the goal? Like, what are all these Kangs going to do? That's my question. But yeah, Jonathan Majors killed it.
They're going to buy Warner Discovery.
Warner Brothers. I rewatched our Batgirl League trailer reaction.
It's so funny.
The Warner Brothers, you're a write-off.
Here's for me, like I said, and here's what because I made a commitment to myself. I'm not gonna read any comics or check out anything with Kang in other versions or in books or whatever. So because I am excited not to know anything about Kang. And Jonathan Majors was amazing, of course. And the thing is, because you have to think about it from this way, Kevin Feige has a very huge challenge upon him, which is how do you top Thanos? And I think that's the thing. One of the things that this movie makes work so well is that because when we were leading up to Thanos, we weren't really following the progression of him. We were following the progression of the damn Infinity Stones. But here, because we start with Loki's the season 1 finale, and then we get into this movie, and it's like we're building upon Jonathan Majors' MCU journey, because saying we're building on his character is irrelevant because he's going to be playing multiple characters. And so for me, I'm excited to see more. I am excited to just see where he's going to pop up next, because I bet he's. Let's speculate, Jordan. Okay, so we have. Let me pull up the Phase 5.
List.
Yeah, the Phase 5 schedule. Vamp for me. Talk while I do it.
Oh, actually, we have 2 super chats. I'll throw them in real fast. So
thank
thank
you.
you, the Amazing Webhead. The last shot in the credit scene was out of comics. Yeah, literally that shot of them up in the rafters in the Kang Council, that was out of the comics. All the different Kangs. Thank you for the super chat. And Victor, also thank you again. Did you see different Kangs appear in upcoming films? Well, that's what we're actually going to bring up, Victor.
Okay.
But thank you.
Okay, so we have 5 more movies for Phase 5. How fitting. The next one is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The next one is the Marvels, which has now been delayed, pushed back to November 10th of this year, which I think is actually a pretty smart choice. And
not
then
smart for my schedule, but yes.
Well, it's the Jordanverse, the chainsaw.
I'll be at a Metallica show that Friday. So,
well, just watch the movie on Thursday then.
I will. I'm just saying I won't be available to do a live show, so you'll have to cover the Marvels.
Okay, and then in 2024 we're gonna have Captain America: New World Order. In July 26, 2024, we have Thunderbolts, and then we end Phase 5 on September 6th with Blade. I think he's going to be at least in one more of these movies. And I think it's going to be the Marvels.
Not a bad theory. Because I don't think James Gunn is going to want a Kang unless it's a post-credit scene in Guardians 3. I feel like that's a very personal situation with the firing and coming back and everything. So he probably didn't want to get too muddy with other stuff. Marvels, yeah. Blade, no. Thunderbolts, no. What do you say? What was before Thunderbolts?
Then
Captain America.
Yeah,
that's possible because, I mean, even though it's obviously it's very different. In Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, I love bringing that show up. Kang,
please do.
Well, because they had it tied in where Kang was following Captain America in the 40s before he got thrown in the ice and everything, and he was watching Captain America because even though it was a Skrull Captain America that turned the tides in the timeline, he didn't know that. So maybe Kang pops up because of the leader who's going to be in New World Order potentially, because we don't know what these Kangs. We don't know because the Council of Kangs in the mid-credit scene, we don't know what they were discussing besides the exiled Kang supposedly dead. Who knows what else they're deciding on? Because now that Earth, it's on notice because they just took out a Kang, the one we exiled, but still, they could see that as an actual threat. That Earth, that timeline, all that.
I think Guardians 3, I would rule it out completely. I just don't see a natural way to work him in there unless it's post-credit scene, and I feel that would just feel forced. Captain America and Blade, because the thing is, the Marvels is the last film related to space and kind of like the cosmic realm that we're dealing with. And then Cap, Thunderbolts, and Blade, they're all very grounded in a lot of ways, because it seems like Captain America 4 is going to focus on a very kind of political, because, I think it's been said now, I think this is out there now, that Harrison Ford's Thunderbolt Ross will be the new president of the United States.
Yep.
So I think that's always going to be a huge plot point. And Thunderbolt, I just don't see a way how a movie that's supposed to follow anti-heroes is somehow going to work in Kang there. Now, the thing that I could see them do that would completely throw us all off is if we get a different Kang showing up in some capacity in every one of these movies, but just kind of like just to be there in the background, not really serve as a plot, anything like that, but kind of just be like, remember that they are all still out there. Now, TV shows wise, because we do have a couple of shows. So this year we're supposed to we're getting Secret Invasion, Loki, What If, and Ironheart has been rumbled for this year, but then this is the thing. This was so. They say Agatha is coming late 2023. Born Again, Daredevil Born Again is coming early 2024. As of right now, I do think a Loki return is due for Kang.
I mean, that after credit scene pretty much tells you, yeah, a version of Kang is going to be in that. And it's also implied by the end of Loki season 1 where the timeline shifted and you see that statue. So
yeah, and I think something there, it would be beyond dumb if What If season 2 doesn't even have one episode about a Kang.
Okay, yeah, so that may be the smart.
Because think about it. Yeah, think about it, because that is literally Elseworlds multiverse. There's 9 episodes. Multiverse. It's literally 9 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't even have at least one episode where it's focused on a Kang, it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, because within What If season 1, the main focus was, of course, Ultron. You know, Ultron becoming his ultimate self that he couldn't become in the MCU. And I don't know if Kang's gonna be like the main focus, but I feel like you're correct, because the What If, like, that takes place in the multiverse somewhere, so Kang's would be likely to appear because this is all connected, like within the multiverse of the MCU. Like, What If is connected, so I feel like, yeah, I mean, because like, think about it. Those 3 Kangs specifically we focused on a little bit in that opening of that mid-credit scene. They could be setting those Kangs up specifically for appearances, because they may play an important role, or more of an important role than all these other, because like there's so many Kangs, like who do you focus on? And I feel like the 3 they picked in that scene, they may be the safe bets in terms of ones we might see again. And I feel like there's a reason why they showed them specifically talking in private. So
I could also see Ironheart do something, because that is going to deal a little bit more with the mythical, magical side of the Marvel universe. So that could be a way to work Kang in there. I don't see Echo and Daredevil doing anything with Kang. No. I could see. You think I'm going to be able to sit still if Jonathan Majors comes on our show? I will be like, you can conquer me any day you want. No. Agatha Coven of Chaos, I could see that too.
Yeah, and I at this point, yeah, so it's Ramatut, and I don't know about Moon Knight specifically, but I think Ramatut is going to play a role, because Ramatut is a version of Kang that went back in time to conquer ancient Egypt. So, and we saw him. So,
yeah, I don't think we're gonna. And also, Moon Knight season 2 has not even been greenlit. So, because at this point, I don't think it's happening. I think Moon Knight will show up on more Disney Plus shows. And
I think he'll obviously appear in Secret Wars with everybody possible. But
Mr. Knight, I just looked this up for you to see if this is true or not. As far as I can tell right now, it has 6 episodes.
Yeah, they've been shooting for a while, but I don't think that means.
Yeah,
it could just mean longer episodes.
Exactly, and also what people have to remember, because I think a lot of people, what they do is that I think they look a lot at what the Arrowverse shows do, which is like they film about like 7-8 days, and that's why they go for so many months. And I think because people think that these Disney Plus shows are filming for so long as they do, they think, oh, that means that there has to be more episodes. So, but Kang, I think there's. I don't think we're done with Kang for Phase 5 yet.
No.
But the one thing I was kind of surprised about, and I wonder if we're saving this for this other movie, is we know in the comics his name is Nathaniel Richards. Now everybody knows, and even the race people know, that he in the comics he's a descendant of Reed Richards.
And Victor just brought this up. Who's Kang's main rival in Marvel? Fantastic Four.
Yeah, so I wonder.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. I think he will show up in Fantastic Four. I think that's why they didn't really touch upon the Nathaniel Richards part of it all. And the thing is, because that could be why they're using a different variant of Kang in that movie. Not as the big bad necessarily. I think it's more about that I think, again, because I don't think we're going to see Kang in this type of capacity until Kang Dynasty, but I think he will play supporting roles or cameos as we build up to Avengers, Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars. Um, but were you expecting them to kind of like hint a little bit at the Fantastic Four tie-in?
Not yet, because Fantastic Four is still far away. Like we literally heard this week that they're going to start casting within the next month, or like start to look at auditions and things, which I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, who knows? But regardless, I didn't expect that. I would have been shocked, but what I was more surprised by is how in depth we actually go with Kang, because I was expecting not as much story, but more so he's the next threat. But they actually went to some like story in terms of the exile and everything, and who he was and how he discovered the multiverse and all that kind of stuff. They did a lot more than I expected, but I wasn't expecting the whole, okay, let's talk about your actual name. Because to him, I'm Kang. I'm not that other name. That's not me. But they're definitely, I mean, I really do feel they're definitely going to tie that in. Maybe not. I mean, the Fantastic Four in film makes sense, but I don't know, because it's their first appearance and their first time potentially in the MCU before their film. I'm not expecting them to pop up somewhere else before their film, but they could still tie in Kang into the film. I don't want it to be overbearing if we have another villain we're focusing on. I don't want it to be where Kang just kind of takes over when he shows up.
Well, here's the thing. I could see, because there was a report today from I believe it was from the Hot Mic that with Jeff Schneider and who he has some reputable info here and there, because apparently this version of Sue and Reed are going to be parents, which would make a lot of sense, because Kevin Feige said that this is not an origin story, and this would also kind of explain why they went out of their way in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness to point out that that version of Reed and Sue have kids and their parents or whatever. So, like, I don't think that was just to give fan service. I think that was actually just to serve a point of like, we're gonna be doing something different with our Fantastic Four. You've seen the original franchise, you've seen the fan force take garbage, but now let's take them in. It's like basically, I mean this with love. There's so many loathing this shit.
It's not a bad comparison. I mean,
yeah, and I mean in a good way. I just thought it was funny of me of saying like the first thing I think of is like, what can I compare it to? Like, oh, let's take this other franchise that is also doing something different from what other TV shows and movies have done with Superman and Lois Lane before. So, but visually, this movie is very stunning. It like the thing is like where the storylines suffer, the VFX makes up for it to some degree. And I like the fact that like this is, because I was worried that we were just gonna see like another crazy Guardians of the Galaxy for Love and Thunder type of like space adventure, but like the quantum realm actually feels the quantum aspect of it all. It all feels unique. There's a different look to everything, and seeing all different aliens, and the one with the ooze creature. Like I was like, when he got shot, and like I have hold, I'm like, I swear to fucking god, if he dies, I will be so angry. And then he just flirted their fucking asses, which I was like cackling at.
Yeah.
What did you think about the VFX? Because this was one of the things that you sold, because I hadn't even seen the first trailer when it came out. You said, Andy, go watch, and he told me, go watch it on the TV. You're gonna love it because the VFX is beautiful. So,
yeah, the visuals were great, and they used the volume, which is something they introduced in the Mandalorian season 1, where they, instead of green screen or blue screen, they have an actual stage of screens surrounding the actors, or halfway or whatever, but like they can project what they're actually seeing on the screen so that it's more immersive and everything. And they use the volume here, and it makes sense because you couldn't. And so I'm only mentioning this because his stance on this particular point I don't agree with. I had to go see it because I heard that he really disliked it, and he thinks the MCU has lost its magic. And I get it if you agree with that. John Campea, when he talked about his opinions on this, he said that it was so obvious they were using the volume, and he was saying how that you could see it in use, and that they could have easily went out and tried to shoot some on locations and added stuff to it to make it seem like it's a quantum realm. And my thing is, the way they went about showing the visuals in this movie, like the visuals, like they could not have went out and actually shot on location for the most part in this movie in the quantum realm, because the way they
Guys in the chat, can you still hear me? I think something happened to Jordan's computer.
Am I back?
I hear you. Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay. Something's going on with my side. I have no idea what's going on. But the whole point is the visuals are great. And the idea of going out and shooting location, it just wouldn't have worked because the quantum realm was too mystical for it to be shot on location and adding stuff in post, because that would have been too much more work in terms of going out to some sort of like jungle location and then adding a bunch of crazy stuff, like just the volume, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I was trying to say. I like I don't know what happened there. My whole thing just went.
It was maybe your Jordan.
I'm here.
Oh, you just stood still and then you blinked. I'm like, oh my god, don't do that.
No, I was reading the comments because someone was
Okay.
saying how I can't hear him. I can hear you. Oh yeah. So.
But overall, let's give our final thoughts on this movie.
Okay.
For me, I think I definitely like this movie. Mostly for Jonathan Majors as Kang and a good development of Scott and the more backstory we get on Janet. But I think where the movie falls flat is the lack of its female lead, mixed recasting choices, and that this movie doesn't feel like an Ant-Man finale to me, or Ant-Man the Wasp finale to me. Like this, like I don't feel like, and this is the thing, like, so Captain America's trilogy didn't do it. For Iron Man kind of did it. Ragnarok did it in a lot stronger way. No Way Home so far is the only trilogy movie that I feel like it feels epic. It feels like how it's supposed to be when you end a trilogy of movies. So I would give this probably a weak 7 out of 10.
Okay.
What would you give it?
How to think about it. Overall, this film tries a lot of things, tries to be bigger, tries to be grander with its story. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. Kang is awesome. Paul Rudd Scott is awesome. Hope got the short end of the stick, got the short straw pulled, whatever. She didn't have really hardly anything to do in this movie besides just wear the wasp suit and run around with mom and dad, and that's it. She really didn't have nothing else. Well, besides questioning her mother about what was going on. Blah, blah, blah.
Why didn't you tell us?
Yeah. Cassie, that's a whole debate about the recast situation, and I really just felt like Catherine just didn't really care too much. I mean, she's fine, but it could have been a lot better. She should have definitely. I think she should have put more effort into it, in my opinion. And I felt like overall, like the story is somewhat solid. It's kind of mixed in regards to how fast it does go past through some things, and it's rushed. But thankfully, Kang saves the film and makes it amazing in regards to his performance. And I'm excited to see more of whatever Kang we see, because Jonathan Majors is great. So he's already proven that. And yeah, I feel like Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania to me is, I would say, 7, like you said, or a 7.5. And it might sound like, oh, you should rank it lower because you have a lot of negatives. Well, the thing is that I didn't walk out of this film going, this is terrible, this is garbage.
Yeah, it's not terrible. Yeah, the thing is, I guess this I will add this. When you guys should have seen me how pissed I was when I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, because everyone told me that it was super important for me to watch before I watch Endgame or whatnot. All you really need to do was just watch that post-credit scene. Otherwise, that movie is, and I don't care for it. This film, like, I didn't come out angry about it. I came out like, could have been better, but I did like it. So, now, we have one thing we're gonna do. We have something to watch because it is time. Before we do Q&A, it is time for reaction. But wait, what do you used to call this? Reaction corner.
Reaction corner. I'm like, oh, did you forget the word?
Yeah, I was thinking like, what? Because this is what happened. We were off for 1 week.
There you
And
are.
I have already forgotten. So we're gonna. So a few days ago, actually, it was only a few days ago, and so I'm gonna load this up. So there will be a quick little volume snip. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, days ago, and there was. Remember a couple last year we did a reaction to a video game, and or like not a video, but like a proof of concept video game of what they could do if Superman had his own video game. And it comes from Unreal Engine 5. And recently they released a Superman Awakens fan-made movie that is a short film that they're describing as a CGI project. So this is what we're gonna react to this week. The link will be in the show notes to where you can watch the original movie and go support them because they do great work. So we're gonna react and we're gonna have some fun. So it's are you ready, Chainsaw, to react?
I'm ready.
Okay, then let's do this in 3, 2, 1, play. Disclaimers.
10 out of 10.
They called me the Kryptonian, Man of Steel. But I'm a man from Kansas. A man who once believed in something.
Is this CGI? This looks real.
Oh shit.
This is a fan film. This looks real to me.
Yeah.
Shit.
They called me God. But gods cheat death, don't they? And I couldn't bring back the ones I needed most. The ones I loved the most.
It's very
Just
dark.
memories now.
Very dark.
Whoa. This is bro.
What?
They called me a hero once. But now I hide from their cries in the vacuum. See their faces now, hero. They counted on you. She counted on you.
Oh, Lois dead too?
But there is another name I go by. The name she called me. It was good. And instead, I used it as a mask to hide from the world when they needed me most. Do they still need that Man of Steel? Do they still?
This is fan made.
Kryptonian?
Oh, it's Kingdom Come. It's
Oh.
Kingdom Come. Oh,
Okay, this makes more sense.
Open your eyes, Clark. Look at them, Clark. As they once looked at you.
Wow.
oh, holy shit.
Rage against loss. Against fear. Against those who've been denied.
That big cake.
Big ass cake.
Big cake.
Give them hope that when they look to the sunrise, the Superman will be there.
Bro. Holy.
Okay.
See, Mr. Knight goes, I want this game now. That's the biggest money for the game. Oh man. I'm just gonna see if there's a post-credit scene or something. See, we've gotten so spoiled now in our generation. It was like anything with superheroes, like, is there a post-credit
Is
scene?
there a post-credit scene? Is there more?
I just this Alex Ross needs to see this. And like, because this was made by, independent creators.
Unreal Engine, yeah. That's it.
Black screen. Reaction. That was amazing.
Okay, so before the reveal of Kingdom Come Superman, which obviously it changes my response, because at first I'm like, this is really dark for Superman, but it makes sense now it's Kingdom Come Superman.
Yeah,
a lot. The one thing that didn't change, regardless of the context shifting, because we see that in that shot of him holding up the Daily Planet globe is amazing. It's cool. It's really good. Multiverse. But that shot of him when you first see him and he's floating up in the suit, it looks great. The only thing that did not change, I don't like his voice. To me, it sounds like a Batman voice. It doesn't sound like Superman. Because Superman, when he speaks, and I get it, this is Kingdom Come Superman. He's been through a lot. He's gritty as fuck. So I get it.
But the thing, Superman is a cynical, needs to kind of like, I need to fear him a little bit. That's why it worked for me. But I can see what you're
yeah, because my thing was, I'm thinking of George Newbern when he took over the role for Justice League, and that voice of hope. And I get it. This Superman, that's a far different Superman than from the animated show to here. I get that. But okay, I give a perfect example, because we saw a version of this in Crisis. Brandon Routh, he gave a little bit of a deeper voice, but then you heard some hope through it. You heard a lighter tone through it as well when he was talking as Clark and Superman. So that's the one thing. If they would have found a voice that wasn't that deep or wasn't trying to go for that Batman kind of feel, I think that I would have liked it more. But I mean, visually, fantastic.
I mean, can they? Yeah, Katua Review says this looks like a cinematic reveal trailer for the Superman game. I mean, can they fucking make the game? James Gunn? Can you
green light?
But now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our final segment of tonight's show, and that is Q&A. So go and hit those vocal cords.
Q&A. Ask us a question, or we'll fucking leave.
So let's look through the chat. And we have a super chat also from the room. Thank you so much. Thoughts on the Superman Lois trailer from a couple days ago?
Mr. Knight said it's a terrible song. It's the best song ever.
Yeah, let's be nice now. It's like, it's for fun. We're not auditioning for American Idol or whatever crappy music.
I want to. I'm kidding. I saw it. I was planning on reacting to it, but it really didn't do. There wasn't really much more to it. It was exactly what Flash did. Except Flash actually, I think, gave some more interesting tidbits when they did their extended trailer. This was an extended trailer from the 30-second TV spot for Superman and Lois, but
yeah.
So.
Yeah, I didn't like. I wasn't like hyped up, but I'm excited for the new season. But I wasn't like, there's nothing really new here. There's just a lot of action beats in this trailer, which that's fine. It's perfectly fine. But it's like, I feel we know almost nothing about this season.
Besides, we got new Jonathan. That's all we know.
He looks like he's having a lot of fun, so I am excited.
And they keep teasing in the fucking trailers Lois dies or something.
Well, here's the thing. What's going to be so funny is that if she dies, and they end up doing time travel, like if she dies and they basically end up doing Injustice in some way, and somehow Superman Lois gets all the praise for it, but yet Zack Snyder did it, I'm going to be like, I'm calling bullshit on all of y'all, because when Zack was trying to do it, he's just like, I mean, like he's just Dark Lord Jet Superman. But if Superman Lois does it, it's like phenomenal, revolutionary, never been done before.
Mm-hmm.
Miata said, I need promo stuff for Gotham Knights and Superman Lois. There were posters for Gotham Knights.
Oof.
And this is what I've said before. the marketing is not doing the show justice. I'm sorry, it's just not. I will have my thoughts out about Gotham Knights fairly soon, but it's not the trailers, the marketing, it's just not being fair to the show. And I don't understand why they're making some of these choices. When it comes to promos of Zuma Lois, let's talk about this. We've had the casting of Bruno Mannheim essentially leaked because David Ramsey kept talking at that convention. We had Lex Luthor. What do we actually know about season 3?
Nothing.
Like, I feel we know nothing.
Besides the trailers and Jordan somehow training and they have a new fortress, and
which does look pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, well, that's all we know, though. There's nothing else that we really know per se about it, unless you read like is there a synopsis out for the first episode or no?
Nope. That will be likely in a couple of weeks from now.
Okay. Well, who knows? Who knows? I don't know.
Maybe David Zaslav took the synopsis and did tax write-downs on them.
So we're not gonna get synopsis.
Nope. It will just be like a picture. It will be stick figures explaining like. Lois!
Trey's got an interesting thing here. Did you notice I never referred to Kang as Kang the Conqueror? Just the Conqueror. I don't think he's Kang the Conqueror yet. I think he was transported to the future and will become Kang the Conqueror.
You know, this is my reaction to it. This is my wait. I have a reaction to it.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
I mean, that's a way to respond. But I mean, because he was pulled into the device that he needed to travel out of the quantum realm.
Maybe he's Gracie the Conqueror.
Of course. What is this? What are you?
What is this? No, I will do you one better. Why are you? I'm gonna miss Drax so much after Guardians 3. Like, that's like the biggest disappointment.
They played the newest trailer for Guardians 3 in front of Quantumania, and there was that line. Screen? Huh?
Does it like? How does it look on the?
It looks good. The point I was going to make was that Drax said that he loves being with his friends or something. I'm like, yeah, that's really that's kind of hitting home because Dave Bautista is like done with Disney. He's done.
Yeah, and yeah. But he's gonna go on to do great things. He was awesome in Glass Onion.
Oh yeah, I mean he's definitely doing more stuff outside of the MCU. He's definitely he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Let's see. Let me scroll through the chat. Jordan, I'm gonna also check how many likes we have right now. We have 19. So guys,
wow.
Let's get to 30, guys. Come on, guys. But I know we took a week off. I'm sorry, but we had to because HBO was just like, no, we're gonna make Jordan work on a Friday. That was so weird. Like, I get why for the Super Bowl, but just like take a week off. You don't have to move it to like that. That's risky to just move it like in the middle.
I don't think they ever take time off when they air a show. When they air a show, they air it till it's done. They're not like because they're not like regular network television.
Yeah,
and that's why that's why I think that
that's my variant. The healthy version of me.
That's why I think I agree with Canada Grass, because we had talked on his stream a couple of nights ago or Monday was that knowing the CW, they will have breaks with the Flash this year, even though it's only 13 episodes. They're gonna have breaks. That's what they do.
Yeah, because it's not just because of wanting to avoid certain competition on certain Wednesdays, but I think it's also because they need time to complete episodes. Like the finale is now getting worked. Huh.
What?
Okay. A source just
he's flabbergasted.
I don't know what to think about this.
What the fuck?
You trust me, you would be confused too. Secret Invasion and Loki season 2 are the only TV coming out this year. The rest are delayed until next year. I think it sounds like that's what's about to happen. I don't know if they have locked that plan in yet, but because okay, so let's think about it. Okay, so it's February now. We got Ant-Man today. We're getting
Guardians
that means
in May.
in May. That means March and April will be empty. Then we don't have anything from May until November. So that means there has to be at least.
Because I don't think we're getting Secret Invasion or Loki before Guardians. Or it could be to where one of them is airing and then they have Guardians air sometime in May and they have like Secret Invasion air in like in April or something. And it airs past through Guardians. I don't know. What is going on?
I don't. Oh my fucking god! This is the most.
I'm confused, guys. I don't know what's going on.
I cannot call. I am not. I cannot say anything. I'm sorry. Can we clip this? Can we clip like Andy reacted to sources giving him the weirdest information ever? You're only 3 away from the big 5. Oh yeah, we are close to 50 episodes.
Getting close.
We're getting close. I could send a screenshot of that if anyone wants me to send it. Wait, what screenshot, Mr. Knight? I have. Okay. This is. I don't under. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Think they're gonna switch to Iron Lad character background of being a Kangaroo and give it to Ironheart, and the Council of Kangs doesn't know about her yet. Thoughts?
No.
That would be.
It's interesting theory, but no. I don't know if you saw that. Lights are flickering. It is windy as fuck out there, so I don't know.
I don't see the tweet, Mr. Knight. The only Disney Plus trailer we have for this year is Secret Invasion. So you think we'll be getting it sometime soon? I think that's going to be a summer thing, like July, August.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's an April or May thing, like after Guardians or whatever. I don't know, because see, I think they had it before where they had films coming out when they had shows airing. I think last year, I think they did.
But didn't. No. Did they?
I think they
Wait,
did.
Let me pull up the schedule again. Phase 4. Because the thing is, with Phase 4, it's so weird because they were also, it was also COVID year, so it's like everything was kind of all over the place. But like, let's see, TV. Okay, January 15th, 2021, we got WandaVision. March 19th, 2021, we got The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. June 9th, 2021, we got Loki. July 9th, 2021, we got Black Widow. August 11th, 2021, we got What If premiering. Then Shang-Chi came out in September 3rd, 2021. Then on November 5th, we got Eternals, greatest movie ever. And on November 24th, we got Hawkeye. So the only thing that really coincided with each other was Spider-Man No Way Home and Hawkeye. Because Spider-Man No Way Home came out on December 17th, whereas Hawkeye ended on December 22nd. So, and that's why, there's that shot, in the movie where you swing by the tree, remember? Yeah. It's the same tree. And then let's see, we had Moon Knight on March 30th. Then we had Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness on May 6th. Then we had Miss Marvel on June 6th. Okay, so 4 Love and Thunder came out during season 1 of Miss Marvel.
Mhm.
And
So I
then
wouldn't be surprised Secret Invasion overlaps with Guardians.
yeah, exactly. Like I think like if there's like it's like 1 week or two before when the movie comes out, I think that's when the show season is over. That's when they usually maybe drop a movie to set up something. Um, but yeah, so maybe Secret Invasion now in April, and then we get Loki season 2 in like August, September, and then we get the Marvels in November.
Mhm.
Um, what do you think about that? Like, now that we know that Kevin Feige has said that they want to slow down the releases of things, I
It's
like it.
it's a smart move because, well, here's the problem. The problem they ran into was in 2019 at Comic-Con, they announced Phase 4. Well, most of Phase 4, because not everything they announced there, like there was more stuff added in afterwards. But they made all these announcements regards of 2020. Here is going to be all of our projects for 2020. Then the delay, the world got shut down. Everything had to be pushed back. So that's why when you're reading up 2021, we had WandaVision went right into Falcon Winter Soldier, and then we had Loki. Like it was so jam packed right out the gate because they had so much back catalog they had to get out to start Phase 4. So they literally were rushing to get through a lot of this stuff out in terms of TV. And so it was reported in the trades that Bob Iger, who's now back running Disney, which thank God, he's the one who says that they need to scale back in terms of how much they're like producing, how much money they're spending, and how
Mhm.
much content they're putting out. And I feel like this is smart because like even like and like as I can only speak myself in terms of as a reactor, I was overwhelmed by how much stuff was coming out at times from Marvel alone, trying to keep up with these shows. And then of course on top of that, Star Wars, everything, was so much going on. And then, you know, it got to the point where I'm like, okay, so more and more streaming stuff's gonna be coming. How am I gonna keep up with all this? The idea of scaling back is smart on them so that they can spend more time on less projects to kind of make sure they're good as they possibly can. Because I feel like that's what happened with some of these shows. Hawkeye could have been so much better if they had more time working on it and not many other stuff going on at the same time. Same thing with She-Hulk. I feel like if they actually had more time, they could have actually made that show better, but they had so much other stuff going on at the same time. I feel like them
Mhm.
scaling back the films in terms of when they're releasing them, when they're releasing the shows, it's smart. So
Yeah.
that Comic-Con 2022 announcement of Phase 5 and 6, that is not going to be the plan. They're definitely going to be pushing and spreading out those films more, which
Like
makes
so,
sense.
it's also a good lesson for the future Comic Con and D23s of like don't overcommit slates because like
Mhm.
remember the thing that we were most thrown off by in July last year was that we were getting Avengers 4 and 5, I mean 5 and
5 and
6
6, yeah.
in the same year, and it's like this makes no sense to me.
And then before like more stuff came out in regards to them working on schedules, there was rumblings of them actually splitting those two movies to where they're not going to be on the same year. So now it's pretty obvious they're not going to be. They may be shot at the same time, like Avengers 3 and 4, but they're not definitely going to release the same year. And if you think about the releases of phases 1, 2, and 3 and how long it took from 2008 to 2019 to wrap up the entirety of the saga, the Infinity Saga, they need to spread out these films more and
Yeah.
shows. And so it's going to make it to where the Multiverse Saga will last longer, but hopefully it won't be to the point where, because we started out on a bad note with too much stuff coming out at once.
Yeah, and as I'm looking now for Phase 6, like right now, for example, we already have 3 movies lined up for 2024, and then Deadpool 3 will start off Phase 6 in November 2024, and right now only 2 movies lined up for 2025, and then Avengers: Secret Wars in 2026. So it's like I think maybe like Fantastic Four and Kang Dynasty is enough for 2025, and then we have. Oh, see, this is the problem. I knew exactly what was going to happen. We're stuck with we don't know what they're doing with Armor Wars.
I won't be surprised if that's scrapped, because I feel like with Iger's mandate of pulling back and not as much content, they're going to reassess what is going to be made. Now, Armor Wars, I think, is the only thing they can realistically get rid of because it was never a part of a proper slate per se, unlike the other things like the Marvels. Obviously, it's already shot, but like Agatha Covenant Chaos, that has been established plenty of times in terms of a timeline. They have to make that show. But Armor Wars has always flip-flopped. Is it going to be a show? Is it going to be a special presentation? Is it going to be a film? And honestly, too, Rhodey, I like Rhodey. Does he need his own film series special presentation? Sure, but in the grand scheme of things, does he? No.
Not really.
And it's not because I don't like the character, that the character isn't
He hates
important
black
enough.
people.
That's what it is. I'm too woke. But
Woke machine.
but it's the fact that
for anyone watching this, it was a joke.
Yes. But yeah, I feel like there's going to be certain things that won't happen in terms of Armor Wars. This won't happen. And I won't be surprised if Moon Knight Season 2 won't happen because of the fact that it wasn't received well. I bet they planned on it. I doubt they're going to make it because they want to put their focus on other properties. And obviously right now, Disney is in a place to where you saw what Disney did a little bit ago. Disney announced Toy Story 5, Frozen 3, Zootopia 2. Why? Because they are guaranteed to make money.
Yeah.
And Disney's not in a good place. And a lot of studios are not in a good place right now. So the idea of doing a property that may not perform well on Disney Plus or in the theaters, that is no. It's like it's basically a lesser, stricter Warner Brothers Discovery, where literally Warner Brothers Discovery will only greenlight hits or what they will think is a hit. Disney, of course, is allowing Kevin Feige to do what he wants to a certain point now because they realized, okay, you were putting out way too much.
We can't do all of this in this time span.
You were putting out too much stuff, and the response wasn't that great. Hawkeye was not received well. She-Hulk was destroyed and not received well. And if you go down the line in terms of other, like, and the thing is, what were we going to say?
I don't want to say that She-Hulk was destroyed because it was, it was
destroyed by a lot of. Well, that is true, but there's a lot of people that dropped off that show and just didn't watch it. So,
and that is a good example of how a show that didn't get enough time to work on its effects, it suffered because, again, I think the story is good, but it, like, every week it was like a distraction trying to be like, this looks so like Fiona from Shrek looks way more believable than Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk. And the thing is, I love She-Hulk as a character. I just thought the effects look horrible. And I just looked through. There's a couple other projects that we like. Okay, so Armor Wars, the Shang-Chi sequel, the Wakanda-based show for Disney Plus. We haven't heard anything about them.
I feel like Shang-Chi 2 is because of the fact that Dustin Creighton's working on Kang Dynasty.
That must be the only. That must be the reason. We don't even know where Wonder Man when that's coming, and that is he's been cast.
Yeah, so I think there's certain things they will do this on a slate per se because Wonder Man could be a Phase 6 project because there's a whole line of stuff in Phase 6 we have no idea what it is. But I feel like there are certain things that have been discussed, like the Wakanda series. I feel like we don't need it. We can have a Black Panther 3. We don't need a Wakanda show. I get it. It'd be cool, but think about the bigger scheme of things. Marvel TV up to this point has been hit or miss. And that's not good. Disney wants shows that are engaging because you know what they first saw? WandaVision. That show was getting more and more viewers each week. People were loving WandaVision. People love that show. And ever since then, it's been mixed. Loki seemed overall was pretty positive. But since then, besides, potentially What If being a show that people really gravitated to because it was really bizarre and out of crazy each week because it's a what if situation. But a lot of their Disney Plus Marvel series were not hitting well with fans. Some stuff was good, sure. But a lot of it was people were just saying, no. And Miss Marvel, of course, was praised quite a bit, but there's people that still didn't like that. But there's a lot of stuff.
A brown Muslim girl superhero? Fuck no.
Too woke.
Too woke, yeah.
But
the Muslims, no, never mind. I was gonna.
Woke.
Yeah, it's too woke. Muslims, oh my god, they attacked Marvel. We can't do anything right anymore. I agree with Chainsaw. I agree.
But yeah, it's just the thing to where they need to reevaluate and work more on each of their projects better. Because right now,
you don't want this. You don't want this.
They would all be debating what version of Tom Welling from Smallville they like more. Like which one in a certain outfit or season, they would be all debate on that.
Let me tell you this. I've said this on Canagrass streams before, and I will say it here. if you show me a photo of Tom Welling from each season, like I can tell you exactly what season it's from because I have like essentially memorized his body size in between all these 10 seasons. I can tell you that's his season 1 body, this is his season 2 body, this is his season 3 body, his season 4 body, this is definitely his season 6 body, and so on. So it's like, I love Tom Welling. He's one of my favorite Supermen.
Trey, I get your point. We actually had briefly talked about this on the phone too.
Oh yeah,
it's not about, like, to me, if to the people that think that, like, seriously, grow up, stop being a child. It's not going to happen. But to the people that are like, well, ever since Endgame, because there's been people that dropped off the MCU after Endgame because they felt like that's the conclusion, they're done. The thing is that Marvel was also in that situation because they just ended on such a gigantic note and then had a little bit of an epilogue with Spider-Man Far From Home. Then they had the pandemic and then everything got shuffled around to the point now where they're like, I remember back, and I know it's not Marvel, it's DC, but like Matt Reeves was on a podcast back in 2021, I believe, and he was discussing about, at the time when the shutdown happened, he thought that the Batman, which they saw 25% of it before the shutdown occurred, he was told by the studio and he was hearing from other people that potentially the movie just could be done. Like the Batman could be just scrapped because they don't know what's going to happen because the shutdown
limited 6-episode event on HBO Max.
Yes, but they literally, he really thought at a time when the shutdown occurred that maybe he lost his film. So everybody was up in the air in terms of how long is the shutdown going to occur? Is this going to basically scrap everything that they had shot before? Like, how are they going to, like, what's it going to be? How are they going to continue to do their jobs? So I bet Marvel was in that situation because literally they just wrapped on their biggest like note in regards to Endgame. And then the next year, after they made all these announcements at Comic-Con, the whole world shut down and they were in the middle of some of their projects. It screwed everything up. So yeah.
My wife and I loved She-Hulk. I'm glad you guys did, Trey.
Yeah, that's good. And
I hope she's in Deadpool 3.
I love the character. I can't wait to see more of Tatiana as She-Hulk. I just didn't like the show. But I can't wait to see her again.
Yeah.
With other writers.
I saw the photo. It was, it's that, wow. I have to clip that later.
Based on the credits scene, I like to think the Kangs were aware of events of Doctor Strange too. Yeah, because he talked about incursions, so I think he knew. No Way Home and Ant-Man in the credits scene about the heroes knowing the multiverse had enough. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're aware of it all.
Yeah, because it was the one thing that was a little difficult to know about this movie. Like, where does it like take place in the Phase 5 timeline? Is it like after the event of Falcon and Winter Soldier, for example, or whatnot? So, I guess we'll have to wait and see. A lot of sorry. I am focused tonight. It's just been a long week, and everyone tries to reach me at different times. But also because I hate anti-woke people. No way he is.
No. I mean, look, I think he would definitely turn Star Wars in the right direction, but it would damage the MCU more than people think at this point. I mean, literally, people love. So I say Kevin Feige went woke. Kevin Feige is dumb now.
MCU.
It's the same guy who was there behind the camera working with producers on X-Men 1 with Hugh Jackman, and he was there in the room when Hugh Jackman was cast, and now in full circle he's returning in the MCU and working with Hugh Jackman again. This is the guy that gave us fucking the Infinity Saga, which is considered one of the greatest feats ever done in Hollywood, pulling off that amount of stuff. So yeah, the guy literally did something that's impossible. Like, what other franchise has accomplished what the MCU has in terms of box office and the sheer amount of projects? Nothing. You can say the James Bond film, but that's over 50, 60 plus years of James Bond films. We're talking the MCU, which accomplished the Infinity Saga in 2008 to 2019. So, yeah.
That's some top shit right there.
And I'm pretty sure at the end of it, at the end, the Multiverse Saga, people are gonna go, you know what? It's pretty good too. I bet it's gonna end on a good note.
Oh, I think so too.
Especially with them pulling back, yeah.
Yes, he is a jacked human being.
Oh, I've
If
seen
we
this too,
get-
Trey Bone. I've seen this too. That it was too sci-fi, too science babble. Then you clearly weren't paying attention to Ant-Man films because there's a lot of science stuff in those movies involving ants. So that's really funny. Too much sci-fi. The fuck.
This is my reaction to that comment.
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
I don't know what he's
It's from it is from Drag Race.
I have no idea, but it's funny because literally, if you look at the comics, in terms of like, and the novels that they've written, like actual books for these characters. I mean, shit, I'll pull one right here. I found this one. I have no idea. It's Spider-Man, Iron Man, Doomsday. I found this book.
I thought when you said Doomsday, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah, yeah, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Doomsday. This says it's the second novel or book 2, Sabotage. But like, this is a sci-fi This is sci-fi. All the stuff superheroes is sci-fi. The fact that one was more sci-fi than the other two, that's a thing. But like, literally, all these MCU movies and DC, it's sci-fi. It's sci-fi. That's what it is. You're dealing with the fantastical. Obviously, some are more fantasy than others, but yeah, pretty crazy.
Let's see how many likes we have right now. We have 25 likes, so that's awesome.
Oh yeah, I think I've showed this before.
Oh, that's a sweet cover.
Yeah, Nightwing Rebirth Volume 1. What else I got down here? Oh yeah, I got Superman Unchained.
Is that a Jim Lee cover?
Yes.
I recognize that. I could tell instantly. Did you? Let me correct me if I'm wrong, but did you not get some? You got some of the recent books that were like kind of being recommended for the new DCU, right? You bought something.
Yes, I don't have it. It's in the living room, but I did buy Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I need to go through these, but it is someone I was selling them for really cheap. It is all of the Young Justice comics that tie into the show. All of them.
Nice.
Look at that. Look at all those comics. All those comics. All of them. Some are wrapped up because I feel like they're just better. Yeah, issue 01 goes all the way to issue. Yeah, there's like special presentations and stuff. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, and look at this. I got actual novels too. I got Wonder Woman, Warbringer.
Oh, that's a sick cover.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And on the side too, it's interesting. DC icons in the.
Oh, I like that. This is literally Chainsaw Show and Tell.
And here's a hardcover I found for $3 at a Goodwill. It's Catwoman Soul Stealer.
Ooh,
hardcover.
I like these kind of like ultra realistic kind of like covers.
Yeah, I'm not sure where anything.
I think there's a Superman one with that.
Yeah, I think I do. I think I have those. I don't know where they are because I'm just looking at what's right on my shelf right here. But yeah, pull this stuff back. I have a ton of books to read. That's the unfortunate part. I just finished. I'll show you a book I finished today. Or no, was it yesterday? Yeah, finished yesterday. It's a pirate book. And this is the inspiration for the 4th Pirates of the Caribbean film, On Stranger Tides.
Nice.
Obviously, it's not about Captain Jack Sparrow, but the idea of the Fountain of Youth. I read it and I was excited because I like the idea of a pirate story. The unfortunate part is Tim Powers, the author of this, his writing and especially his words he's using, because obviously it's writing in the time period of pirates. It's hard to follow at times. It's really annoying. But yeah, I have a ton more. Ooh, I know what I can show. People are gonna be like, "What the fuck?" Okay, I got 2 of these. This is really cool. So there's a third one that I don't have. This is called Legends of the Batman.
Oh, I've never seen this before.
It's a big book.
Is it a trade paperback?
No, this is like an actual novel. And so if you look here, it has like contents of like all these short stories that you can read of Batman. Yeah, Poison Ivy's Gift, Mr. Freeze, The Early Years, Seize the Night, Catwoman. Catwoman or Catwomen, On the Wings of Angels. And it's just, you know, a book. And like it's all these stories. And then I have another one. There's a third one I don't have. I think it's like the first one, but here's another one with a cool cover of Riddler and
Ooh, I like. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good Two-Face artwork.
yeah.
I'm gonna get a book that I also want to trade. I think everyone would be kind of interested. Keep talking.
Yeah, the one on the back, Adventures of the Batman. That's the one I don't have with Catwoman and Joker on the back. That's the one I don't have.
So I think this was last year or during 2021. I'm gonna just pop up at the screen. So
Okay.
in 2021, I am because I don't really buy a lot of books in hard copy and so on because I just don't always have room or space. But there was one that I was really fascinated by. So this book is called Gotham, 1990 to 1939. This is and I for legal disclaimer, it's an unauthorized, detailed account of a fictionalized Gotham City in between these time periods, where we get a Gotham City in a Batman universe that is very stylized from the early 1900s. So, like, for example, I will show a couple of examples, and you can buy this. It's from an Australian author, but like it's so cool. So basically, what they've created is again like this kind of like early 1920s looks of what Batman and his characters would look like. So this is what Batman looked during this time period. And like here's Alfred, Lucius Fox. Let me try to bring up some more costumes because that's probably what you guys want to see. So, for example, we have the Penguin right here, and we also have what does it say here? This is James Gordon. Here's what Selena Kyle looks like as Catwoman in this universe. Let me see. Let me try to get some more. Let me try to bring up the Bat family. Or for example, here is what Black Mask looks like.
Oh, that's cool.
Let's see. Here's Joker.
Oh, that's awesome.
This is very horrifying.
Yeah.
Then we have, let's see, and it kind of it's a chronological, like a documentary almost of like what this universe looked like from this angle. So, for example, here's what Dick Grayson looked like as Robin. Again, it's in 1920s, so like I don't think like spandex really existed. The Flying Graysons. Here's the Batmobile. Let's see. I want to see if this is. I'm trying to look for the other. Here's Catwoman.
That's cool.
Yeah, so this is a fun read actually. So if you guys want to check it out, show and tell with Endless Multiverse.
I have something that's gonna make you jealous. At least I think so. You ready?
Okay.
Gotham books.
They're Gotham books?
There's only two that's ever been made: City of Monsters and Dawn of Darkness. And this one's shorter. If you look at the difference there, this one is obviously shorter, City of Monsters, but Dawn of Darkness is the bigger book. Yeah. And they are official release because they were I found out because I was on the Wikipedia of Gotham and saw where they had, because you go to like miscellaneous or like tie-in stuff or whatever, and there was novels. I'm like, oh, and I found them. I think I found one at a bookstore, and then I ordered the other one because they only had one. That was at this like random bookstore I was in.
What seasons do they take place in between? Because I'm guessing that's what they're.
I think 2 and 3. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I definitely want to read them though. I just got so much. Literally, I have so much crap to read. Is the problem? I have too much stuff. Like literally at this point, I've stopped buying books unless they're digital. This is kind of cool.
You need a new shelf soon.
Yeah, this is the two captains, Kirk and Picard. That's gonna take a while to read though.
Yeah. Aiden, you are late to the party, but we forgive you. Kidding. Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. We're now 26 likes, so come on, guys. 4 more people can get us to 30. 30. Do we want to give them the heads up about next week?
Sure. Why not?
Okay, so next Friday, I know we were gone last Friday, but that was because HBO fucked us over. Next week, there is a slight possibility we're going to be off too, but it's for a very exciting reason that you guys will see very soon. If everything just goes according to plan, you guys will be seeing it very, very soon. But if there's like a lot of things to talk about next week, we will do a show, of course. There's no doubt about that. We will of course do a show if there's like a lot of things to discuss. But just be prepared that there may not be a show next Friday. But we I'm pretty excited, Jordan. I mean, Jordan knows exactly what this is.
Thankfully, I'm actually in the loop on this, guys. but yeah. So there's something in the works. Something that and here's the thing, because sometimes when you say something is in the work, people are like, ooh, and then it's like a one-time thing. This is a thing that is going to take us to the next level. And I said it. The next fucking level. Play the clip. Play the clip. Play that goddamn clip. Play the clip.
What did you say?
We're leveling up. Play the fucking clip.
Wow. You have seriously leveled up.
We are going to be leveling up because this thing is going to... Okay, first of all, this thing is going to take the In This Multiverse podcast, this live show, and me and Andy's working relationship to the next level in regards to we're going to be working.
Stop saying level, please. Please, just stop saying level.
We're going to be going to the next adventure. We have things. This thing is going to be big. It's going to be big.
It's something I've been working on for the last couple of months, and as I saw how Endless Multiverse was going so phenomenally, that I asked Jordan to please be part of this, and he graciously said yes. And I cannot wait for you guys to see this, because this is going to be. We're not living together. Shelby, I don't know how Shelby would feel about that. If I offered to take out the dog, I'm sure I would get to stay for a night. But we're all going. Y'all,
going 3D.
Y'all going free. We can't even get 1080p here on Streamer. How the fuck would we do 3D?
Yeah, we're gonna a podcast. No, guys, no.
No, not even DC podcast could get its own studio. And we did 15. We've done over 21 podcasts.
Okay. I'm not gonna say what it is. It's a big thing.
Yeah, you're on the embargo. Don't be Grace Randolph.
What I'm saying, yeah, I signed. I got leaked images. I'm gonna share them around like John Campion for Spider-Man No Way Home. So I'm gonna do this shit. Yeah, I had to bring that up. Had to, because you brought flip flopper pancake over there. So, but
we're very excited.
So the idea of going 3D, the podcast studio, guys, you're thinking too small. And you're thinking it as, oh, this is for Endless Multiverse. It is, but it's bigger than that. This is okay, without saying that word again, the L word, this is transcending Endless Multiverse, because it is the next big thing that will take us to the future.
Yeah.
The thing that this thing is going to be, we're going to be pushing it hard. It's going to be great.
Yes, and we
So
hope you guys will. You know, you're not gonna have to wait long. Like it's not gonna have to be like several months. Like it is fairly soon if everything goes according to plan. So, but that's why next Friday, Jordan and I may need to take time off because
of said
we
thing.
of said thing for
And
for development time.
and if we have to take time off, then it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah,
Which I think at this point we probably will take that Friday off to work on this because
even this week there was not even a lot of news.
yeah, and this thing has to be as good as it possibly can be on
You
that.
think we would be fucking excited if they bought us?
If they no, they would tax write off. We'd be
Yeah.
back roll.
Yeah. We're not
okay.
Kang variants.
The comment above that one. You're technically not wrong. Technically not wrong. We are pushing the limits of the multiverse here. Yes.
Yeah. So but no, we're not interviewing Mark Guggenheim, who I have nothing against, honestly. He actually just got some new movie at Universal announced today. So, cool for him.
All I will say is this in regards to your response to interviewing. Interviewing is possibly going to be more easier, potentially, because of said thing.
We're not going to ask for Cicada, though.
No. Unless we get him for another show. All I would do is bring up Gracie. No, because that would
he's gonna think you have a stroke or something.
I'll be like,
but enough teasers, because I feel if we keep talking, we're gonna accidentally spill it. But it's like I'm very excited about it. It's something I have teased on even the Flash podcast as well, which we're hoping to we're trying to get Jordan on Flash podcast this season, which we stream on Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern at on youtube.com/DC podcast. So that's where you can catch me on Thursdays before you see me here on Fridays. But speaking of Flash, I did some fun interviews today with Richard Harmon, who plays Captain Boomerang, and Mientes, who plays Pied Piper, and had a lot of fun with them. And next week's episode, I even told Jordan before we went on live, there's something in next week's episode that I cannot wait to watch his reaction video for. I mean, I'm always happy to see him react to the Flash and so on. But there's something next week that I'm like, I think he's gonna poop himself from what he sees. I'm
worried. I'm worried.
No, I'm excited. I'm very excited. It's a good thing.
I mean, I guess as you brought up the Flash, we could talk about the fact that holy fuck, we're getting Zoom and Jay Garrick back. My God, Jay Garrick, that makes more sense. Zoom, Teddy fucking Sears, come on.
I wonder how long they were gonna hold off of that. Like how long they were gonna hold that secret in, because I was like, come on, like what? Why are you guys torturing fans like this? And it became incredibly evident when I spoke to Eric 3 weeks ago or something, and I asked him about Zoom, and he was just cackling. And I'm like, oh, that announcement is coming soon.
He was laughing. He was laughing like,
yeah. Well,
and I think he's laughing because he's like, because you could tell. Now thinking back on it, now thinking about the context of that, of course, he wanted so bad to talk about it, but he couldn't because he can't legally say it because it's the network, the Warner Brothers TV.
Well, it wasn't even that. That was because here's the thing. It was a TV line exclusive. Because here's what's also happened. Because in that interview, I also asked him about what about Matt Letcher or Tom Cavanaugh as Reverse Flash, and he was like, "Oh boy, are you about to be happy?" And then 2 days later, EW announces that Matt Letcher's coming back. So it was like, this was already exclusive that he had given to others. And I was like, oh, but because they were exclusive, he can't say that because then it takes, so it's like,
it also just his response, it just gets the fans excited. Just like,
in episode 3, I said it on Twitter today that this is by far the best episode of season 9 so far. It lives up to the title Rogues of War, and there is I screamed out of excitement. There's a lot to look forward to because I know this week was this week's episode wasn't easy. This was a hard pill to swallow. But next week, like for West Island fans, there is so much good content coming. For people like Rogues, I mean, there is there's stuff coming up. So Wednesday 8/7 Center on the CW, dare to get renewed by Nick Star.
Can't wait for more Chill Blaine.
Are you done with him?
Dude. I want Barry just to vibrate his hand through his chest. I'm tired of the character.
Jordan.
I'm messing. And it has nothing against the actor, because I made a point in my review of this week's episode. I said it has nothing against the actor, because the actor, this is his character. This is what he's getting paid for. He's getting paid. He's got a job. I hate his character. I can't stand him. And the fact that they upped him up to series regular, it just makes my head hurt. I really just but I'm because see, I saw that's what I want to happen. I saw the promo for the third episode, and honestly, I'm kind of mixed. I'm like, okay, we got Daddy Likes the Metal, and what's his name?
Jacko?
Is that
the Hot
name?
Nuts?
Yeah, Hot. I'm like, whatever. And then you see a shot
No,
at Chill
here's the
Blaine.
there is, all of them are good. All of them are good.
We'll see.
I promise you, you're like, I think that this trailer, again,
we'll
this
see.
is CW. It's a CW. They don't do always the best editing, but like
That's true.
there will be things to look forward to.
So I saw that, and so I'm kind of mixed. Saw Pied Piper still in the mix. I'm like, okay, cool.
Wait,
Then
you're
you
mixed
see-
on Pied Piper?
Huh?
Are you mixed on Pied
No,
Piper?
I said I saw Pied Piper. Like, okay, we'll see. We're gonna see him again. So I'm not mixed on him. I'm just like, okay, so we're gonna see him again. And then there's that shot of Chill Blaine in his villain-esque outfit, whatever, if you call it a fucking outfit. I'm like, oh god. And literally, and I cut around this because you don't see this the twice I've seen it. When I'm watching the intro, whenever his little segment pulls up, I'm like, I shiver. I'm like, ugh, not because he's Chill Blaine. Like, I can't stand the character. I can't stand him. And the fact is too, they literally made you like dislike him even more, because when they had the little discussion at the beginning of episode 2, where Chill Blaine's like trying to talk a little bit for Snow before she comes up with Keon at the end, her name. When they all leave the room, he's like, yeah, our plan's working. I'm like, oh, God, stop the fucking shit. Just stop the plan, because he was lying to all of them. Like, that's what made me so much angrier. And the fact is, he wasn't accepting Keon Snow, the new Caitlyn. He wasn't accepting of her not wanting to go back in and basically sacrifice herself to bring back Frost or Caitlyn. He's like, get back in that damn machine. You get back in there. I'm like,
yeah,
someone kill him. Somebody.
No, because we need to remember something. Because this is the thing that, like, and this is the thing, because we have to remind ourselves on the flashback constantly about this, is that this is a mark that is still grieving, and this is only a week. Like in their timeline, Frost has only been dead for like a few weeks. So I think that's why he is escalating so hard. But because for us as fans, as viewers, we wrapped season 8 in June. It's February now, so I understand. I understand that. I just like let's see this graphic novel play out. But next week's episode is like it is so good, and Jordan's reaction. I think it's going to be a very fun one, to say the least. Chill Blaine wears a Sabretooth cosplay.
Exactly, that's perfect. Oh, well, the thing is too, I've not liked Chill Blaine ever since they introduced him, so it's not been a thing.
I liked him in the beginning. I liked him in the beginning because
I remember that one after credit scene where he gets out and he's just standing there with Frost and looking at a newspaper or something, and it cuts. I'm like, why was that an after credit scene? That's fucking okay, whatever. I was like, because after credit scenes are supposed to be the 2 after credit scenes we've had so far. Red Death, love it, and literally that one after credit scene. It's like, what the fuck? Why?
The fun was fun seeing bloopers in the end credits this week.
Yeah, I didn't include it in my reaction, but I thought that was funny. Thought that was a good moment. Like, oh, that's cool.
He's the Flash. Nope. No, I'm not. No.
No, Mr. Knight, I have. Oh my God, you are so wrong. I have not warmed up to Kramer. Oh God, I
like Kramer.
Did I include that in my reaction? I think I include my reaction in episode 1 where he's first shutting the door in the first run of the day. I'm like, oh God, Kramer, I forgot about Kramer.
No, I think she's a good character. At least she's doing more than what Joe is doing right now on the show.
That's me when I see Kramer or Chillblaine.
You okay? I can understand. Okay, I can understand
yeah.
But Kramer, like, she's been good for the past 2 seasons. So, what has she done in the last season that
I
is
just
bad?
don't like her character. Just don't like her.
She was bad. I agree. She was bad in season 7. Like, you know, that was so over the top. But
was it season 7 when she accidentally like revealed herself to be a meta who could take other people's powers, and when she became a
the 7th finale?
That I remember.
I panicked. I also panicked because I'm like, I don't want her as a speedster. I do not need her as a speedster.
Like me and Shelby, because that's the last season she watched with me. She's not watching the show anymore. But when we saw that moment, we both was so, what the fuck? She's a speedster, and then we found out, of course, she's a meta. You know, to me, it's like I love the show. It has its problems, and you know. No, Missioner, I wouldn't say I warmed up. It's just like at this point, I have to accept the fact that they're in the show because they're not going to write out Kramer or write out Chillblaine because I'm complaining. I have to just accept it, but I still will complain. But it is what it is. But Chillblaine, I'm more annoyed with because at least Kramer in the season 9 premiere, she was just in that one sequence, and it wasn't like she was doing something terrible or being an ass or whatever. She was just repeating the day over and over and over to a certain extent. With Chillblaine, I mean, they're making over the top where he's like, and I get the whole thing of time, and Frost just died a few weeks back in terms of the timeline of everything.
But I will say, I mean, it is confusing that we're having to somehow like it has to almost like, I almost wish that they would more often in the show point out that there is like, you know, like when they look at the calendar or something. Wait, what are you laughing at?
Fucking Brian's comment. Oh my God. Not even a dollar store, a dime store. Holy shit.
That is so mean.
That is amazing. I love that. Not even, no, here's the worst part. He didn't say dollar store, dime. It's even worse. That's, God, that's brutal.
That's so mean. He will never come on. I will never let him on our show. Like,
no, we're never gonna interview David Zaslav.
I would only do if I did it in person with him, and I will tell him, you can't have your publicist in here. You will answer the questions. Like, you know, if you don't want to answer something, just say no comment. But don't have your publicist come in and say you're done. Like, no, like I got thoughts to say. If you know what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Let me see what else people have been talking about. Did you like the first episode of Picard? I don't watch the start of the show, so that's maybe a question for Jordan.
I watched if you talk about the season 3 premiere, because I think that the last season premiered this week. I haven't watched Picard past episode 3 or 4. Season 1, I haven't kept up, but I do plan on sometime watching it. I think I'll probably wait till when the show's done, and then I'll go back and start it and get through it. But yeah.
Brian asks, any worries about Suman Lowe's son recasting? Nope. It's like this is industry.
Yeah, there's nothing to worry about because it is what it is. They had a reason to do it. But then some people might say, well, you guys are being contradicting because you had an issue with the recasting of Cassie and Ant-Man, but yet you have no. Well, the thing is that in the instance of Superman and Lois, it seems there was a reason why Jordan, who played Jonathan, was not returning. Whether it's, if you believe this story or this story, there was a reason they had to. In the sense of the Cassie situation, they just fucking dropped her and didn't say anything.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you can also not compare a movie role with a TV role where, like, because Jordan was on for 2 seasons and they could, like, everything is. everything he did was completed and aired, and then by the time, because this was leading up to when they were going to start shooting season 3, and for whatever story is out there, it just didn't work, and they parted ways with each other. And so it's not the same. Like, you guys can't come and say that we're contradicting each other, because it's not the same situation.
Yeah,
It's like this. It's like this. Let's say if they shot all 13 episodes of Super Lois season 1, 15 episodes of season 1, and they were planning on then releasing them all, but then without any hiatuses. But then let's say they decide, you know what, we need to reshoot the whole season because we need to take out Jordan Ellis as Jonathan Kent, and we're not going to tell him until the show premieres. That would have been a crappy move. That is similar to Cassie thing.
It'd be the same situation as if, because they were planning on him to show up by September of last year or whenever it was when they were going to start prepping to shoot. They were expecting him to be on location to get ready to start shooting. And of course, it didn't happen. It'd be the same situation to where if they were to announce in the trades that they had cast a new Jonathan without telling him, and he found out through the trades that he was
like, oh, I'm fired. Like that would have been bad.
Yeah.
But the thing with Cassie, with Emma, is that she had to find out on Twitter. Like it wasn't even Disney telling her. She had to see other people live tweeting the call and be like, oh shit.
And I bet people went and went to her Twitter and her other social medias. I think she has other social medias, and were blasting her. We're like, what's going on? What's happening? And so, yeah, she had no idea.
Yeah. So I think that it's like these situations can't be compared. I'm looking forward to see Michael Bishop as the new Jonathan. And I think for me, what's so funny is that to me he looks a lot more like what I would imagine Jonathan Kent to look like. When you're looking at the comments and so on. So like, and he and Alex, they actually they could be twins in real life. So and here's the thing, recasting happens all the time. It's just the way it is. It's time to move on. And to me, Ant-Man 3 is the latest episode of The Flash, where it was mostly boring, but then the final minute were exciting. That's what the movie felt like to me. It can't take a 2-hour movie and compare it to a television show that only gets 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I can imagine years from now, and people rewatch the fight and ask, who was Shield Brain? Just say he was a guy that shows up a lot, abs and no importance. Aw. Let's just be patient. What about David Mazouz?
Probably ask him, like interview him or something. I don't know.
No, would love to. I still wish Gotham was on. Now that he's actually getting to like his 20s, like he could play a young Batman. But he could. I think we have to bulk up a little bit and so on. But it's like now that he's growing up. But Lightning Bolt asks, do you think Super Lois will make past season 3 or no?
Nope. No, Nexstar won't renew it. It is what it is. All right. Well, I think.
But wait a minute. I can compare Ant-Man 3 to the latest episode of Flash because it's just a setup for the next thing. But wait a minute. No. Wait, hold on. Oh my god, I don't have the energy for this.
That's why I was trying to wrap up the show.
Serialized was okay. I'm sorry, but serialized television versus movie storytelling, it is beyond different because a television show, the reason it runs for 13, 15, or 22 episodes is to tell like a storyline. A movie's job is to tell a storyline. So like for the Flash, like they didn't finish the whole story, but it's because we're just starting a new graphic novel. But with Ant-Man, they're kicking off Phase 5 and the second chapter of the Multiverse saga, and yet this is what we got. Like, Kazi, I'm sorry, but you can't compare the two. Andy, have you watched the League of Superheroes movie yet? Yes, I have. I loved it. It was very, very good. I'm loving the Tomorrowverse. Like, it's really good. Like, it's like I'm hoping. Do we know what the next movie is going to be, and is it going to be this year?
Yeah, World. in summer.
Oh, nice. Nice. And you loved it too, I guess, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I liked it overall. Yeah.
Monal was trash there too.
Well,
But yeah, if we're wrapping up, then thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight.
Thank you.
Like we said, we may be gone next Friday, but for a very, very good reason. If there's a lot of topics, we will do something next Friday. Or maybe in worst case scenario, we could do something. If no, first I can't do it because I'm doing Flash. So but yeah, we will we're not gonna be gone for long. And trust me, when you see what's coming,
you'll understand.
Yeah, like I'm very excited about this next chapter. So you can go check out his review and his honest reaction to Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Tomorrow on the mallreport.com, you will see Jordan's first movie review for us. It's about Ant-Man, so you get to read his thoughts on the first Phase 5 installment. Also, he has an editorial coming out where he's breaking down some recent talks from Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, and yeah, and of course check out his Flash reactions. What is coming up for you this weekend? We have Ben 10, the Batman, and
we have a good Batman because the Batman.
Which episode did you see?
Season 4 finale, aka Martian Manhunter, introducing Batman to Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Hawkman, and Flash. And all I will say is I screamed.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
I mean, like you couldn't even hear the audio of the show. I was screaming, and I put rest in peace headphone users an image. You see it pop up to let you know, because you at first when they go to the Watchtower, that's just the start. It gets way louder than that because I'm like, holy shit! I literally hit my fucking like armrest. I'm like freaking out, and then I scream and cover my fucking face because here it comes out the fucking Justice League.
Also, he has a poll up on his community tab of what anime show he's going to review after
Potential. It's not official. I'm just trying to get to see. I don't even know what their final results.
Yeah, let's check the result. Because I voted for my choice yesterday. Which one do you think I voted for?
Okay. So I'm looking here. So 3 days ago, we have X-Men Evolution at 27%, 9% is Gargoyles, 22% for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003, Legion of Superheroes at 4%, Batman the Brave and the Bold 39%. I'm going to assume Batman the Brave and the Bold for you.
Yes.
I figured. Yeah, because see, there's a lot of people bringing up Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for a while. Batman the Brave and the Bold's been brought up quite a bit. X-Men Evolution has been brought up quite a bit as well. So
I do say that I have seen a lot of people ask you about X-Men Evolution when I read through like past comments and so on.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about that. So we'll see. If that was the actual poll, Batman the Brave and the Bold would have won. But
I wonder if people are voting a lot for that because the movie is coming with the same name. I wonder if that's why people are.
I don't know, because a lot of people are saying they just like the fact that it's pays homage to the Silver Age of Batman. But then there's also some people saying you're finishing up a Batman show, you're going to jump to another Batman show. I'm like, I get the critique of that, but it's a very different, from what I'm understanding, a very different tonal wise, the two shows. So we'll see what happens. I mean, look, like once the poll officially goes out, I would say probably in the middle of the Batman season 5, I'll actually get it ready. It might be X-Men Evolution. You never know, because I feel like once I let people know ahead of time, get ready, the poll's coming, I feel like more people might jump on and vote for X-Men or something else besides Batman again.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Mr. Knight, just to answer your question quickly, and then when you're streaming next on Twitch, there's a tentative plan that I might do it tomorrow.
There you go.
Tentatively.
Yeah.
And if I do, it's just probably Valorant. So yes. But yeah, you can find us on our social medias in the links in the video description below. There will also be the reaction video from us about Superman Awakens. And yeah, Jordan, anything else you want to tell the crew, the viewers?
I don't have anything. No. Nope. I'm good. I think we have only one thing to show, though. Only one thing to show, and then we will end this crazy train of a journey here. As you guys always know, we always end on the same note every single time we do the show. Make sure you watch for every little detail, the way that Nora stands, everything, Cicada, Gracie, all that. Take it away, Cicada.
Metas killed your parents, Gracie. They all deserve to die.
Don't believe him, Grace.
Don't believe him, Gracie. Don't believe him.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Talk to you soon.
And stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.